On today's Go, we take to the sky. Welcome to this week's episode of Go. I'm your host, Vanessa Ybarra. Well, with the summer tourism season in full swing and the kids out of school, things couldn't be busier here atop the Sky Gondola. So we're here today talking to Kirby about all the events you can take part in to make this summer the best one yet. Kirby, before we talk about the events and everything, let's just talk about how much have you had for attendance so far this year?
It's been a great year, although pretty weather dependent. Our visitation is up both from locals, lower mainland people, and international visitors. So I think as Squamish gains in notoriety for being the beautiful place that it is, and this gondola is a bit of a part of that, people are just hearing the story and they've got to come see it. So we're seeing visit year over year start to grow.
And it's arguably the reason some people have said that really it's put Squamish on the map when it came out a few years ago. Who are the visitors you are seeing? Like you said, Lower Mainlanders, what's kind of the percentage breakdown?
Yeah, so Squamish has always deserved to be on the map. I think we just gave it a little bit of a push in the right direction. And so what we're seeing is about half of our visitors are actually Vancouver Lower Mainland people. And then the other half are split between international visitors, locals, and folks from across the border.
Yeah, a lot of international visitors we see here today.
That's right.
And it's a full experience. It's my first time up here, actually. Getting up here in itself is an experience itself. So kind of, if you could lay out, what is the experience, maybe starting from the bottom, heading up?
Well, I think all good experiences in tourism anyway kind of take people a little tiny bit past their comfort zone. And so most people are like, oh, gondolas, no big deal. But ours certainly is one of the steepest in North America. And also, we intend to be a simple, beautiful experience. So literally, you take one turn out of Vancouver and turn right into our parking lot, park, jump on the gondola, and suddenly, you're 600 feet in the air above some beautiful granite, kind of highlighting the best of Squamish. The views of Howe Sound come into play. They change every day as the Squamish rivers collect and change the color of the sound, and the tides wash that in and out. All those different sediments make it this beautiful mosaic, and then you rise over some old growth and second growth trees and forests, which are fairly pristine around the gondola. And then all of a sudden you crest the hill and you're in this alpine environment with these big snow-capped peaks. And as the waters recede, you really begin to feel that you're heading into the middle of the big backyard that is beautiful BC.
You're a good man with words, I should say. You should take my job.
Well, I love this place. I think it's absolutely spectacular.
And there's also obviously the suspension bridge behind us. You've got the Summit Lodge. People can have food, the viewing platforms. So yeah, what is the general experience you want people to take away when they come here, say for the first time?
Well, our actual purpose as a company, I'd like to share because I think it's one of the most elegant around, is to make it easy for people to connect with the great outdoors. So people, by and large, exit the gondola. Many of them gasp at the suspension bridge. They end up here on what we call the Octagon, taking in the views of Howe Sound and the mountains. They'll have lunch, they'll have a beverage, they'll head across the suspension bridge and do most of our inbound hikes. And we've got some really nice short duration hikes of mellow altitude difference. So people can really, of all abilities, can kind of enjoy that and just really feel their feet on the ground in the mountains and connect with that. Yeah. So that's our primary core experience. That's really what we're about. Just shocking people with how beautiful their own backyard is.
Yeah, it really is shocking. That's the best way to put it, for sure. And so we'll talk about also that you offer many other things, some summer siesta nights on Friday nights, also some bands. So we'll talk about those events coming up. But let's start to our first story of the day here and treat you to a special performance from the Watoto Children's Choir, who recently stopped into Squamish as part of their North American tour. I swear those kids get cuter every time I watch that performance. Some good news, all money from the Watoto Children's Choir tour goes towards their village they live in Watoto, which is in Africa. So if you'd like to learn more about how you can donate or more about the group, visit their website at watoto.com. And also if you'd like to view the full 20-minute concert we recorded at the church there in Squamish, you can view that right here on Channel 4. It's airing July 8th, 11th, and 13th at 7 o'clock, so check that out as well. Okay, while water may be scarce in some parts of the world, including Africa, as you can see here, we have more than enough along the Sea to Sky. And turns out there's an exhibit in Britannia Beach bringing a whole new awareness to H2O. We drink it, bathe with it, and love to play in it here along the Sea to Sky. But what exactly is in water? And what are its uses beyond our day-to-day life? These are the questions Britannia Mine Museum's summer exhibit aims to answer. So this is the exhibit, eh, Michael?
Yeah, it's called Water Beneath the Surface, and I guess I'll take you through the exhibit.
All right.
This exhibit is about water, but more importantly, it's about what is in water, how water impacts our environment, how it impacts mineral formation.
Water is topical, but when we decided to pick our topic, it had to be something that related to mining. Water is one of the things that has an impact on mining and is impacted by mining. We hope that people kind of make those connections.
So this is the first area of our exhibit, the first of 3 areas.
This H2O tour, starting with Plinko.
Something that I like to refer to as experiential learning.
A lake.
So it ended up in a lake, but yeah, our water could end up anywhere. It's just to consider that when you sort of pour your water out or when you're using water, it doesn't always just end up in one place. It could end up anywhere.
Judging by this, it appears we have no problem using that water. I couldn't believe that that's the amount of water you use in a day, you're saying, the average family.
That's right. So in Metro Vancouver, we use a lot of water. I don't think people realize how much water goes into your day-to-day lives. That's one of my favorite visuals of the exhibit.
A large portion of Britannia's Beneath the Surface exhibit highlights water's incredible ability to help form mineral formations such as stalactites and fossils, as well completely new landforms, all through the materials picked up along the way.
Here we've got some silt that's right between sort of something that dissolves inside of water, like salt or sugar that dissolves inside, goes along with the water, or just rocks that get moved along.
And you're mentioning that that's crucial for the eco-life or fish. How does that work?
That's right, yeah. So especially here in BC, we do have a lot of silt, a lot of vegetation runoff from the mountains that go into the oceans. It is important for food for the fish. It also creates bedding layers for fish to lay their eggs.
The third and final portion of the exhibit focuses on deep sea oceans.
And as you had seen, we haven't explored a lot of it. We've explored less than 1% of the deep oceans.
I couldn't believe that.
But we do know a lot about what's going on down there and the important roles that water plays. So we know about seafloor nodules that are forming, manganese nodules, black smokers, and fire ice.
With so many mineral deposits lining the ocean floor, deep sea mining is expected to be the next best thing. It's just getting there that's the problem. I couldn't believe in 2016, like you're saying, it's actually quite hard to go to the very bottom of the ocean floor. It's easier to go to space, you're saying.
It is, yeah.
What makes it so difficult?
A lot of it just has to do with atmospheric pressures. So as you get deeper into the earth, there's lots and lots of pressure down there.
So for now, these natural wonders will have to be seen in museums such as Britannia. With its interactive demonstrations and thoughtful layout, the Beneath the Surface exhibit is as fun as it is informative. For Michael and its 2 other creators, their hope is if people leave with one piece of information, it's this.
Consider the implications, consider what water is and sort of how it plays a role in our lives. We know it on one level. Hopefully they come across with maybe another recognition of how they use water in their day-to-day lives.
Did you know that turns out flushing your toilet, of all things, is the largest water source consumption here in BC? Pretty cool. If you'd like to learn more facts and check out the exhibit yourself, the Beneath the Surface exhibit is happening until October, of course, at the Britannia Mine Museum. All right, well, stay tuned because here on Go, after the break, we'll tell you about a neat rock climbing event happening here on top the Sea to Sky Gondola. You're watching Go. Also coming up is Tiny, the next best thing.
Hi, I'm Liesl. This is Tenley, and welcome to our tiny home.
Meet 2 homeowners out to prove less is more. Welcome back from the break. Well, here today on Go, we're on top of the Sea to Sky Gondola, one of the must places to check out summer, but also year round. So much to take in. I'm here with Kirby, and Kirby, we've talked about the obvious breathtaking views, suspension bridge people can enjoy up here. But let's talk about some of the events you offer as well. One that was quite one that I noticed was a Via Ferrata. Sounds kind of exciting. What's that one all about?
Well, it's the world's best introduction to exposure. It comes out of Italy. In World War II, they put metal rungs in the sides of mountains so they could get their troops to the high points more quickly, and then it became a sport after the war, and it's came over to North America a few years ago, and now they're sort of springing up in different places. But you wear a harness and a helmet, and you've got 2 clips, and you go for this beautiful walk through some of our older forests, down to the base of a cliff, and then over a series of climbs up these rungs, you ascend back to the lodge. And it's beautiful, it's spectacular, the viewpoints are absolutely amazing. You definitely get the feeling at one point you climb up a 65-meter granite wall. And so if you're like me and you get a little tickle when you're at exposure, it's a great way to just get more and more comfortable with those kinds of heights and distances, and then maybe get into a little bit of the sport climbing, rock climbing, mountaineering. So, you know, it's kind of what we're about. We're about introducing people to this beautiful backyard, as I mentioned, and that's just a great way to get people that extra little step further into maybe contemplating going higher in the mountains.
Totally, and it's an hour-and-a-half tour, so people can take part in, so that's great. And then later on the evening, perhaps, there's a Summit music series you're mentioning on Friday nights. You bring up some neat bands. What's that one all about?
It's just about hanging out with your friends, having some adult beverages, and listening to some fantastic music in the most beautiful setting ever. So we change up the variety music every Friday night. So we go everything from, you know, a little bit of electronica to straight up bluegrass to rock and roll. So you look at the programming and kind of pick your night, or just come to them all. We've got a fabulous barbecue that runs on the deck, and table service and everything else. So it's just an incredible hangout opportunity. And being up here for the sunsets is magic.
Just say breathtaking.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, gives a grease a run for its money.
That's right.
And last thing you mentioned, we're here on the Spirit Deck where we offer yoga. Also the deck across here. So that's every, is it once a week, or how's that work?
Monday through Thursdays in the mornings. Yeah, and it's $15 to drop in for that. So it's affordable for most people. And again, it's nicer in nice weather, but it sure is a pretty spectacular place to get your yoga on.
All right, well, more with Kirby coming up. We'll tell you where to go to buy perhaps passes to get up here, some other information as well. But let's go to our next story here. Speaking of summer events, let's head up to Whistler, where one tour is giving locals and visitors a step into the past. For Whistler Museum Manager Trish Odorico, it's a time of day she looks forward to most.
I love leading the tours because it's kind of a break from my day inside the museum.
With another full group waiting for her, donation box and photos packed, the Whistlerite heads off to lead today's museum tour, otherwise known as the Valley of Dreams tour.
All right, welcome everybody to the Whistler Museum walking tour. When you come to Whistler, not everybody wants to come into a museum, so it's really nice to take the museum out there. To start, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about First Nations history here.
Everywhere we travel, we always like to take tours because it's nice to see the beauty of the location you're in, but I'm more about learning the history of how it got there.
Indigenous people did actually use Whistler as a trading corridor.
After a brief talk about surrounding First Nation settlers to start the tour, the group of mostly BCers heads to the village, where they learn about pioneers Alex and Myrtle Phillip, who together built Whistler's first tourist attraction, otherwise known as Rainbow Lodge, in 1914.
You can see on this map, it's just right here on Alta Lake. So that was kind of the first hub of Whistler. What people really enjoy is the history, the pioneer history especially. Myrtle Phillip, she was one of the best fly fishermen in the district. She set and nursed broken bones. She lobbied for the first school here. So yeah, she's a really fascinating character.
From there, it's off to stop number 3.
Here we are at the mountains. So Blackcomb and Whistler. Does anybody know why they are named Blackcomb and Whistler? Blackcomb looks like the comb of a rooster. And then Whistler is the hoary marmot. And that's actually what Whistler is named after.
That's kind of cool trivia. I'm not good at Trivial Pursuit, but I might use that one.
So let's walk just a bit over this way.
Along with mountain pop trivia, the group has also shown one of Whistler's first gondolas, one of the many lines and structures built as part of the city's first bid to host the 1968 Olympics.
Many people think that the main village in Whistler was always where it has been, but it was actually started in Creekside, and Creekside was the original village base. and where the original gondola left from.
While the city may have lost the bid, it forged ahead to officially open up Whistler Mountain in 1966, with architects hired to convert the city's downtown dump into what's today's Whistler Village in 1975. For newlywed tourist Ralph and Menchu, taking in the resort's history is just as important as its sights and restaurants.
So often we visit a place and we don't really know how this place came about to be, and I think it's good to have this insight.
The main thing that stood out for this group?
In the beginning of the 1900s, that a 10-acre parcel of land costed $700 up here.
That it was really a woman that pioneered Rainbow Lodge, and that's pretty exciting.
That it took 3 days to get up here in the old days by horse or carriage or things like that. And we got up here in an hour and 20 minutes.
And with that, it's on to the last stop of the tour.
This is from an announcement of when they heard they got the games.
For Trish, being able to share Whistler's many milestones, including bidding and finally hosting the Olympics in 2010, is a joy that, unlike the museum's photos and items, never gets old.
I love leading the tours because I always meet very interesting people, always, from all over the world. When I started at the museum, I had no idea that the history was so big. I think a lot of people don't come here to learn the history of Whistler. They come here to ski, snowboard, or mountain bike, or whatever. So it's kind of a nice bonus when you do learn the history. It's enriching. All right, you guys have been an awesome group, and that concludes the tour. Now back to home base.
Another neat fact you can learn on the tour is that Whistler Mountain was once named London Mountain back in the 50s before it changed to its current name. If you'd like to learn more facts yourself and take the tour, it happens every day at 1 o'clock and leaves for Whistler Village, so check it out. Okay, well, speaking of history, when we think of our own history here in Squamish, one thing we'll remember many years from now is the sudden rise in housing costs that's occurred in the last few years. And while this hot market has made it tough for many families in the city, as we found out from 2 locals, it's also allowed many to adapt a less is more approach to living. Let's check it out. It's a project that's dear to their heart.
I'm riveting the sheet metal onto the interior walls of my Airstream.
For the past few months, this has been where these Squamites sleep while they completely renovate their 1976 Airstream Argosy. While retro floors do make for great conversation piece come road trips, this trailer isn't just for travel. It's where this mother-daughter live.
Hi, I'm Liesl, this is Tenley, and welcome to our tiny home. It all started with my daughter going for a play date to a friend's house who lived in an Airstream and coming back and talking about this, and I didn't know what it was, so I googled Airstream and oh, it's those interesting looking trailers.
Tired of living in subsidized housing, the single mom bought this mint green beauty 3 years ago and went to town.
As an artist, I definitely immediately looked at it as a blank canvas. I took out all the curtains and the carpets and wallpapered and painted. Had a lot of fun with it.
Along with creative freedom, not paying rent instantly opened up a whole new world of adventure for the duo.
Within a year, we had enough money to go on a 3-month trip to Guatemala. Traveled around Guatemala, Belize, and the Yucatan in Mexico. It was an incredible experience.
Liesl's Airstream is one of a growing number of tiny homes and boats popping up around Squamish. According to the mayor, the city's near 50% spike in housing costs in the last 5 years is just one of the reasons.
That's one piece of it. I think there's also an environmental, sort of ethical, corporate decision. When you think about it, most houses, you really are using probably about half the space 90% of the time. So I think people are just sort of being conscientious about using less energy, less water, just simply less land.
And turns out there's a teeny tiny home in downtown Squamish that just may be the greenest of them all.
Hi, I'm Todd. Welcome to my tiny home.
Tired of also being a renter, Todd decided to apply his journeyman carpenter skills to build his very own 300 square foot home made completely out of reclaimed material.
I see so much waste, construction waste, and I started salvaging materials. It really came together when I salvaged just a whole truckload and trailer load full of yellow cedar, and it was almost enough to build a house, I thought. So I thought, okay, let's do it.
Along with its yellow cedar roof, the squaw might also use local timber for the home's floors and a retro glass ball he found on Vancouver Island for the door. As personalized and cost-effective as his tiny home is, the biggest perk for the rock climber is the personal freedom.
Simple is better in every aspect. If you can live in a tiny home, it's really nice. It's easier to clean, you have less stuff, and it's affordable.
As for Liesl and Tenley, they hope to finish their second renovation by the end of summer. The space may be tight and the work at times exhausting, but life on wheels is one that for these travelers is here to stay.
It's really wasteful and unnecessary to have more space than you really need. There's nowhere for her to like run away and play video games. We spend a lot of time just in close quarters or we're outside. And in a town like this, it's a good thing to be outside.
He may have built the home, but turns out Todd is actually looking for a place to permanently park it. So if you'd like to rent out your land to him, you can reach out to Todd through email. And good luck to you, Todd, in your journey there. All right, well, moving along here from the art of home building to the art of stained glass. Next time you're driving along the 99 through Pemberton, go a little bit further into Birkin, and you'll soon discover a one-of-a-kind glass shop that offers everything from glass chimes to window displays and more. And as we found out, while its products may have quite the story of their own, turns out their makers do as well. Let's check it out. Growing up in New Westminster and the Persian Gulf, Judy and Hugh Boris may have lived worlds apart, but there was one thing that connected them.
The church I used to go to when I was a little girl had 8 stained glass windows down each side of the church. And that's probably what I was doing when I was there, staring at the stained glass windows.
Throughout Europe, my family traveled, and every time you went to a new town, you had to go and see the church and look at all the windows. The colors, the texture, the way the light reflects through the glass. It's just amazing.
After meeting Judy in the 1970s, the two free spirits set off to travel across Canada.
We built a house on the back of a truck, and I built the frame, she put the windows in it.
With Judy having taken numerous glassworking classes, she began to teach her future husband the craft, with the hobby soon turning into a roadside business.
We were making little sun catchers in campsites that we went to. People would see us doing the work and we'd strike up conversations and they would purchase some of our pieces and that would keep us going.
However, like most couples, the time came to find a permanent home. Seeking a quiet refuge, the two moved and soon opened up Our Glassworks along this rural road in Birkin, just north of Pemberton in 1980. They were married the same year. Well, fast forward 35 years and the tight-knit duo is still at it, making and shipping everything from sun catchers, window displays, lamps, bowls, earrings, and more, with Hugh becoming even more involved after retiring as a school principal 6 years ago.
We do commission work, so either we'll go and install or we will ship. I've had a couple pieces go to Cincinnati and Houston this year, and back east in Canada, some over to Europe. It starts with a drawing. I draw to scale, whatever the project is.
Hugh then carefully cutting out, laying, and then tracing each of the numbered pieces on the glass imported from the States and Europe.
Learning how to cut the glass, that was difficult at first. It's something you grow up being scared of breaking glass, but once you know what the sound's about and how to cut it, there's no more fear factor.
What I'm doing here is soldering the pieces together.
Along with using traditional lead, cane, and copper foil methods, Judy also fuses and then heats up layers of glass in her kiln to create her signature bowls.
It's very time consuming. Each piece has to be cut and ground and foiled and soldered and patinaed and polished. I mean, it's a labor of love, really. You're working, sometimes hours and hours on it, but I'm totally absorbed in what I do. The rest of the world doesn't exist.
To celebrate their lifelong dedication to glass, the couple released a book this year showcasing their favorite pieces, as well volunteered to make 4 window displays paying tribute to Squamish's House Sound secondary grad students that now hang in the school's halls. For Judy, it's her passion for the craft, combined with her husband's natural craftsmanship, that makes them such a strong team, with her true love still by her side.
This wouldn't exist without my husband supporting me and working with me. It's just amazing. Yeah, and you know, and the thing is, you know it's going to be there for a very long time. It's a wonderful legacy, I guess, to leave.
It keeps us together and gives us something to do together. When you're young and you make a plan with somebody for the rest of your life, you don't know whether it's going to work, whether it won't, it will be successful. Here we are 35 years later.
Judy recently made a stained glass display paying tribute to the House Sound Secondary graduates of this year. So if you want to see that, just swing by the high school. And also if you have any pictures yourself of stained glass you've made as well, you can reach out to us on Twitter and on Facebook. Share that with us. All right, well, lots of sharing here, Kirby. Tons to take in for the gondola. But the main thing, how do people get up here? What are the hours of operation?
So in the summertime, Sunday through Thursday, our last ride up is at 6 and our last ride down is at 7. And then on Friday and Saturday nights we open late. So our last ride up is at 8 and our last ride down is at 9. So you can take advantage of the views and music and the sunsets.
Totally. And let's see, you also offer a hike to get up here.
That's right. Yeah, the Sea to Summit hike is amazing. It's a 7.5 kilometer hike. You actually start up the Chief Trail through BC Parks and then come across to the top of Shannon Falls. You get to see cascading waterfalls at the summit there, and then there's all these beautiful viewpoints. Great deal of variety, lots of water for dogs, and we do allow dogs to download. So once they've exercised their little brains out and they get up here, they're well tired and we let them down the lift. But it's definitely one of the iconic hikes now in the corridor, for sure. And then there's all our hikes from up here. Al's Haybrick Ridge is spectacular. Every foot you spend going up into the Alpine, the views reveal themselves more and more and more. So
tons to take in. And if people want to get passes, visit online, of course.
That's right. Pop into guest services and we'll look you up. And if you bought a day ticket, we'll take that off the cost of your pass.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
So
Appreciate
nice
it.
Cheers.
All right, well, that wraps up our show today, coming to you from atop the Sea to Sky Gondola. Again, send us any pictures of you enjoying the views, hiking trails, anything else. You can reach out to us on Twitter at Shaw TV Sea to Sky, and also view a few stories we've also done from atop here in the past few years. Those can be seen on our YouTube channel, and the link is just on the bottom of the screen there. Until next time, I'm Vanessa Ybarra.